Everybody, what's up, and welcome to episode number 139 of the Unknown Games Podcast, the best show where we talk about video games. We also talk about fast food or life in Japan, not just fast food, but food in general. And by we, I mean myself, Adrian, and my co-host Alex. What it do, man? What it do?
What's up, Alex?
I was almost waiting for that sadness and sorrow thing because this, like I said, we do live in Japan, and this is probably the biggest week in, it's the biggest week in Japan for.
Oh, it looks like I'm stroking myself. So I'm shaking a.
I know what you were doing, bro. I was like,
So you could just see my arm like going. No, I'm shaking a protein drink.
You know what you were doing. No, you were playing the Wii. You're playing the Wii. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Just playing the Wii. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy week. We've had a lot of video game release dates. God of War Ragnarok. We got the release date on that. We've also got a bunch of JRPGs from Square-Enix with the release dates. But in the crazy world news perspective, we had the former Prime Minister get assassinated. It's so weird to say.
Do you want to talk about that?
We don't. I mean, we don't have to talk about it in depth. Just mention it. Some people. Because I was listening. I called my mom back home because my mom called me. She's like, "Yeah, I heard all this news on TV, like on my local news network in Alabama. They're over here talking. I hear it in the background, just going like, and all the world leaders are now pouring out sympathy for the former prime minister." I was just like, "Whoa!" I mean, it was honestly, it's the first time. No, the second time a prime minister has been assassinated in 90 years.
There was another assassination in Japan?
Yeah. 90 years ago, apparently. I don't know who it was, but it was 90 years. That's a lot. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was off that day. I took the day off work. I woke up. I sleep in super late when I'm not working. I wake up at like 1 or something in the afternoon, and I drag my ass over to my computer. I'm booting my computer up, right? My girlfriend like rushes in, and she just like, "Oh, good morning. By the way, Prime Minister got shot." And I was like, "What?"
I had just come back from lunch. I came back from lunch, and that was, and my coworker was said the same thing. I was like, "Bro, what?" And I turned on the news, and it's like, I heard the guy. I was like, "This doesn't even sound like an actual gun." First of all, because it's not really hard to get. They're really hard to get in Japan. So it was just like, who, the Yakuza? What happened up in here? This man doing some shady business. We won't get into the details. I mean, because if you've heard about it, you probably already know. But yeah, man, thought Abe was the leader of a cult drug.
I don't think he was the leader. He was connected. He was connected to this cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, as a really quickly. So this guy, the suspect, his life apparently, like his family life, was like ruined by this cult. Like his dad left or passed away or something like that, and then his mom joined the cult, and was donating like tons and tons of money into this cult, to the point where him and his siblings were like basically poor, didn't have a lot of food growing up, and he like resented this cult growing up. And then he heard apparently somehow that the former prime minister has connection to this cult, and he said like instead of going after the leader of the cult, he thought it would be easier to go after Shinzo Abe, and he did, and he shot him. Yeah,
in broad daylight. Hold up. This wasn't even like JFK level. This wasn't.
Was like no sniper rifle, nothing.
Straight up, 10 feet behind the man, literally listening to the speech. Like all the cameras that have seen him, like smartphones and stuff. It's like the most calm looking dude. Like, I'm just waiting.
Yeah. So when like he didn't even like when he fired his shots, he didn't even try to flee. Like he just got arrested, and they asked him like, "What's your motive?" He said like, "Oh, it's not politically motivated or anything." So it wasn't like a political assassination or anything.
It's been 2 years since he resigned.
Just legitimately like did not like this cult that his mother got into and wanted to get, I guess, revenge in some way. Anyways, yeah, pretty weird.
That happened. It was a really weird thing. The whole Kojima thing after that too, which was,
oh god, you want to talk? I mean, that was so fucking crazy. Without turning into this weirdo, bizarro like podcast
conspiracy
about,
unknown games podcast edition.
Do you think, yes or no, that the police, the local police, the Nara police, were they ill-equipped to handle this
I think
situation?
that the issue is that the whole country would have been ill-equipped.
Yeah,
Like, because in the U.S. or any other country, I
it was
don't
like
think
bulletproof glass,
there's
right?
bulletproof glass. I mean,
Yeah, it
I
was a
literally went
perimeter.
outside.
Yeah.
I went outside right after this happened. And
Mm.
this was like the day before big elections were about to happen. So he was campaigning on behalf of his party. He's not running or anything, if I
No, you
remember.
just on behalf. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so like these are people who are either at like they're on the street corners or they're on the like a podium essentially like in a town square or station, and there's nothing around them. This dude was literally just holding 5 mics. Like it looked like the most jacked up jerry rig setup. But yeah, it's just like if you go back years and years and years ago, decades of how speeches of political people used to make, like just out there in the open, that's all it is. Like there's no
Yeah.
way you can protect anyone that way. There's no
And
earthly way.
yeah, I think it's just because in Japan, like, that sort of crime is so exceedingly rare that it doesn't
Very
even cross
rare.
anyone's mind. But it's not like Japan had zero. Not, sorry, I mean, it's not like Abe had zero security. He did.
He
Did
had
have
a
a.
whole SP right
He
all around him.
technically had. Yeah, he technically had police on him. But like, the crazy thing is like, okay, problem number one, someone got close enough to him from behind to fire a shot. So that's problem number one. Like you let someone get that close. Number two, he actually fired 2 shots.
Yeah, he fired
So
2.
he actually fired 2 shots. So after the first shot missed, where were you guys? Where were you
Oh, where
guys
were it was
before?
it was like so, and I was wondering because like when you hear the gunshot, you're like that's not a normal gun. It sounds more like a cannon, like a boom instead of like a
Yeah, so
pop.
anyone who doesn't know, yeah, it's true. He didn't use a normal firearm or anything like that. It was like a
It was a
homemade gun.
homemade,
It was like 2 tubes taped together, and apparently it was basically like
a
musket
shot.
loaded. Like,
Yeah, it's basically a
yeah, like
shotgun.
you put like the gunpowder into the tube, and then you put your projectiles
That's
in afterwards.
that
So
is
it was
going
like
a certain mile.
so completely homemade. So it's not a gun problem because it wasn't really a gun. He didn't buy it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Basically, I got hit by shrapnel in his
Yeah, but essentially,
like
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
He died to blood loss. One of the pieces hit an artery in his neck,
yeah.
and he died that way. He was only hit twice. One in
The
his arm and one in
chest,
his, I think it was arm or something like
armor
that. Yeah,
chest or something. Yeah,
and then his neck, and he died from blood loss. So extremely unlucky.
very,
Truly unlucky.
very unlucky.
But yeah, and then like a day after the shooting, like Nara police got grilled. Like, were you
People,
not?
yeah, people will grill
Were you
them. And I
not
mean,
doing? Yeah,
like the probability of this is so low that you can't even like
yeah,
drill test. I mean, from now on, I know everything's going to change. They will definitely have some sort of protection for these people because, like I said, I literally went outside and homeboy was on the corner, like
yeah. So
campaigning.
me too,
You
actually.
could have,
Yeah,
I could have, you could, if you really want to. If a
Oh, I
car was
know.
walking by, I could just push him into the street.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Actually, me
wouldn't,
too.
but I'm
I
just
well,
saying.
not
It's
like I
crazy.
wasn't
Yeah,
like.
yeah. Like I wouldn't, but I'm just saying that's how
I
close.
wouldn't.
No one,
Clarify,
there's,
I wouldn't. But
he had no
yeah.
one around him. He was just running. Like, yo,
Yeah,
bro.
so I went to Yurakucho on the weekend actually. So well, that was literally a day after. That was a day after actually. So I went to Tokyo, like mid Tokyo, Yurakucho on Saturday, and they're doing campaigns because yeah, there is an election happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And same deal. He was standing on the truck like on the side of
On
the
the side of the
street.
street.
He
Yeah,
had
yeah,
no
yeah.
security, like no security at all.
None at all.
I'm like, all right, I don't know,
It's
whatever. It's a different
different
culture,
country, different
yeah.
yeah, different culture, different country. But like you said, we're not a political podcast or anything. But it was something that like happened in our neck of the woods that was very just abnormal, out of the ordinary, and you wouldn't even have thought that in a video game. Like that's how crazy it is.
Yeah. Anyways, video games, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna be talking about the wonderful Square of Enix, the House of Square, releasing how many games? We had the release dates.
A buttload, yeah.
Yeah, we had the release dates for Valkyria
Elysium.
which does come with the a copy, I think, of was it Limit on top of like inside of it, like
What?
on the disc. Sorry, it comes with another copy of one of the Valkyria games on it as
On
well.
console, I presume, not on Steam.
Maybe not on Steam, but just on the console. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we have all these games. Harvestella. Star Ocean, and then we have I keep calling, I want to call it DioField, or the strategy JRPG that they've got.
Whatever.
I even have it in the description. Is the worst part, but I mean the whole thing is that
DioField Chronicle.
They put out these trailers almost back to back. And these games are coming out essentially like a September, October, November kind of release date. And then at the same time, Forspoken, their huge tentpole title, which was already delayed once, supposed to come out in, I believe, June or July sometime, is now been pushed back again, this time to 2023, to January. Yeah. So the question I have to ask is, like, I joke about the word B-tier JRPGs or B-tier games. We have these AAA games, which have these huge budgets, God of War type stuff, anything Sony makes, essentially. And not just Sony, just, those large productions. And you can tell that these games that Square is putting out, and they're not that level, but they're not bad. They look like, from the trailers, they look like something you can kind of play, have fun. You might not remember. You might come out going like, I really enjoyed this game. I'm thankful that they made it. I can't wait for it to be improved on in the next thing if they get the chance.
It's funny that like you're saying like, oh, this B tier, which today, I mean, I'm not like disagreeing with you, but like it's funny and also kind of sad because like if you go back in time to the PlayStation era, Valkyrie Profile, I would say wouldn't have been a B-tier game. It was like an A game, yeah. Yeah,
I'm almost calling this game a B-tier game when it would, like, PS3, PS2, it would have been just like a VALKYRIE Chronicles. Like, that was like AAA for Sega, right? Like, in our mind, we thought, And this has around the same kind of, it feels like budget or scale. I don't know the actual budget. But,
and like Star Ocean too, like Star Ocean was a huge title for Enix back in the day before they merged with Square, right?
Yeah.
And now, time travel to 2022 when they're like, oh, PS Star Ocean 6 is coming out, and we're like, what, really? And they're like, PS Star Ocean 6 comes out in October. Like, wait, really?
Yeah, and it's just like, are you serious? Because I mean, this combat system, I'm like, oh, okay, I was looking at the trailer for Valkyrie, I'm like, it looks kind of solid. Like I don't feel like it's near. I don't feel like it's Devil May Cry, but I don't feel like it's too far below. I feel like those guys worked on it. I feel like somebody might have worked on it from one of those titles. And
I saw the trailer for Valkyrie Elysium, and my first thought was just like, wow, this looks generic. I'll still buy it though.
That is it right there. It's like so strange because they are good games in their rights, but they just look generic. They shouldn't be.
Like so generic. And did you see the trailer for Star Ocean?
Let me pull that one up really quick. Let me just put this because I did not read. They had a whole kind of day for it.
Yeah. But you didn't see the trailer, did you, or no?
I didn't see all of it. I'm looking at the homegirl's face now, and remember the first thing we said about this game was the faces were.
I think they improved it a little bit. I looked at this on stream when I was streaming on Thursday. PS stream on Twitch. But I was looking at this on Thursday on stream, and I brought up the announcement trailer versus the new trailer, and the faces I think are like a little bit better. Yeah, they look better. They look
better.
They're not like, I still don't really love the art style. I just don't think it translated too well. When you look at the sketches, the 2D sketches, they look really cool, and then like they just kind of made them 3D, and I don't think they look that good. But I think they did improve them a little bit from the first trailer, so that's good to see.
Yeah.
But so I watched the trailer for this, and I got to admit, it like doesn't excite me. Like really doesn't.
But will you play it? That's the thing. It doesn't excite you.
I'll play it. Yeah, I'll play it.
A shot. Yeah.
I'll play it, but like mostly on the merit of it being Star Ocean 6. If they call this like space fantasy or I don't know, whatever, right? If it was like a brand new game and brand new IP, I probably wouldn't play it unless the reviews were just like, oh, this is a really good fantasy RPG. Right?
Yeah. I feel like I could be playing Star Ocean, and not Star Ocean, but Phantasy Star for a second when I was looking at it.
I'll play it, but like I said, on the merit of it being Star Ocean 6, because I legitimately, as a kid, really enjoyed Star Ocean. But
I would
The
say
trailer did. The trailer did not excite me.
on the
Like,
merit. I mean, all these games are ostensibly turning very much action based.
well, Star Ocean always has been,
Or has
but
been, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I is it better to just have one of these games come out a year, or maybe two? Let's say we have two of these games come out, but they come out more polished, or maybe just something that leaves you not going, man. Would you
I
rather
don't.
have that, or would you like all three of these coming out, or four of them, five? I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
honestly, we've had so many come
I
out
mean,
this year
the
from Square.
question is like, even if you put this in the oven for another year and a half, like, is
Does it
it gonna be
change?
is it gonna be
Does
significantly
it change?
better?
Is what it
Yeah,
is?
maybe this because I don't know. It is pretty weird because like Square-Enix has two different types of games. They have the games that they announce, and then they're like, "You'll get it when you get it." It was, Kingdom Hearts, right?
Right, right.
Or they'll be it's fucking this. Or it's like Star Ocean comes out this year. Like, wait, what?
But I think the trend is like they there has been this huge trend to where a lot of these developers, a lot of the AAA title people who are people who have worked on these titles, it takes like 5-6 years of their life, and like they're like, you know what, I still love making games, but I don't want to do that anymore. I want to make smaller titles, and they end up typically forming like indie companies together. And we've had this,
Yeah.
yeah, we've had
There was
this
a bit of an exodus, like, in the last couple of years, right?
yeah, yeah, and we've had this
Yeah.
kind of movement to where it seems like back in the day we would have these AAA titles, then we would have this whole B tier of I don't know, just kind of okay, fun games of any genre, right? But there were a lot of them, and that since that kind of died out, and I would say like PS4 generation sometime around then, maybe even PS3, no PS4. We had indie games kind of step into that space because we have like a ton of indie games. Like if you really want a classic JRPG, you can find like 10 of them right now, and there's more coming. Eastward came out. We've had there was another one that it got delayed, but there's a lot of them.
Hmm.
It's nice to see that this is coming from Square Enix though, and a big
Like,
publisher.
what? Why? Like, why is 2022 like the
The
year of?
year
Yeah, because like, were all these games in the pipeline like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and they just happened to finish their development cycle
is it like
all in
a
the same
COVID
year?
type a COVID like it
Yeah,
was delayed because of that or
or
something?
or was Square like was a bunch of higher ups up at Square were just like, well, we need games, boys, we need games, like,
That's what I'm wondering.
yeah,
Like because I mean honestly, if they didn't have any of this, all they technically would have had would be Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy 16, and FF7 Remake Part 2. That's all we would have. That's all there would have been.
yeah. I'm curious if a lot of these games naturally finished their development cycle, like they were always meant to tie up around this time, or
Mm-hmm.
if executives were just like, finish it, like finish these games, like now they have to come out, like,
And instead
like,
kind of like rushed it a little bit.
yeah, like, why are
You know
four or
what this
five games coming
reminds
out?
you know what this reminds me of? It's almost like smartphone games here in Japan. The art's really nice. You like the character art, and you get into the game, you're like, I don't know if I want to hang with this that much.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of this, but obviously it's not that. It's not on that level.
I really want to know if these games like Harvestella and Star Ocean and DioField Chronicle, if they were meant to finish their development in 2022, or if some executives like pushed them to finish all at the same time so that they can all release in the same year.
That is a good question.
Because like, like surely if you put too many games out in the same
I mean, no one can
quarter,
play all of them.
yeah, you're gonna cannibalize your own sales, no? Like,
That's
surely,
what you would expect. Yeah, I mean, you would think. I mean, Capcom did this at one time when they put out a bunch of I think Street Fighter 4, and then after that Street Fighter Cross Tekken. There was like I think one of the Darkstalkers games came after that. They kind of like did like a few different things, and then like a Marvel vs.
like this.
Capcom 3 was also in that same time span, and like no one could
Yeah,
play
yeah,
them
yeah.
all. You know,
This will hurt you, I think, because like,
Something's got to get hurt. I think Harvestella maybe is the best out of these, just
well,
because it's
It's the most unique, I would
It's
say,
the
and maybe
most unique,
Chronicle. DioField Chronicle also I think is a little bit unique, but I think the two games that are very similar are going to be Valkyrie Elysium and Star Ocean 6, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like me personally, uh, I'm the kind of person that would want to play both. Like I would feel like both those games would end up on my wish list. I mean, they are on my Steam wish list, but like.
Yeah.
You know, now that I'm an adult, there's no way I'm gonna finish Star Ocean in 4 weeks. I can't do
no
it.
way. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even because I mean the thing is what it does, and for anyone who's saying like, yeah, what do you mean cannibalizing your time or you won't be able to play it? It's the fact that they both come out near the exact same time or even a month apart. And the way that these games work now, there's always something that you want to play. There's always something that's coming out just around the corner.
And don't forget, Pokemon also comes out in the same time too, right?
Pokemon
like,
Scarlet and Violet, yeah, they do. They definitely come out the same. Goodness
like
gracious.
I can't do it.
So you literally can't do it. That's the thing. Like, you know, I would rather this game come out a couple months later, into the point where, hey, you know what, maybe you're finishing Pokemon, but these companies they plan their releases on whatever merit they have. But yeah, so. I don't even know who's gonna be playing Harvestella, but
like I want to know, like, if an executive is pushing all these games to release in the same period, like, do they think this will help them? Like,
I mean, it's a good question. Well, I think we'll find out. We will definitely find out at the end of next physical, like the next year.
I think, like, as a fan of JRPGs in general, like, I want these games to succeed. I want more Star Oceans. I want more. It's good to see Valkyrie is back after, I don't know, like 15 years or something like that, like a long ass time.
Honestly, yeah.
And like, I want them to succeed. I don't want these games to come out and then they don't do well, and then Square's like, oh, it's not worth it. Like, people don't want Star Ocean
which
anymore.
they have done before with a lot of stuff that Eidos or Crystal Dynamics released with, I guess it was Tomb Raider, the first one from the reboot, which was critically did very, very well. Sold
but
very well.
At least they finished that trilogy at the very least.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. Then they got sold, but they finished it.
I mean, like, pour one out for Deus Ex, which literally never finished the storyline.
It never finished. It didn't. You're right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm curious because on one hand I like this. Some of the games, my favorite games when I was growing up on PS2, they weren't like some big titles. They were just kind of like, I don't know this, and maybe that's what these are. Maybe this is someone's first 3D JRPG.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's always gonna be like every game that comes. It's someone's. I mean, because kids are growing up all the time, so someone is starting out with these games. So
yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, I'm torn. I'm torn both ways. I mean, like, I'm not Square. I mean, I'm my job's not banking on these games, but like, I mean, I want them to do well. Obviously, I can only buy a couple. I might be irresponsible with my money and buy all of them and then not play them. But I think I can only manage so much because, like, in September, it's going to be September, October, November, back to back, right?
Yep.
And we're looking at not just Square itself. We're also looking at, Pokemon is coming out as well. There's going to be some other games. I'm sure that I can't think of right now that are coming out for PC and PS5 and Xbox and stuff. Like, when is God of War coming out?
I think that's is it October 29th or 11th?
Yeah, God help you. It's like, literally, if you wanted to play God of War, like, you're fucked. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
or the buzz from that title just kind of overshadows these games, and
you're probably it's way too much. So
it's a crazy dilemma. But I mean, this thing used to be so prevalent in like the FPS space. I kind of miss that, and I don't know if we have it as much. I know we have like Splitgate. But remember when it used to be like Unreal, and then it was always the arena shooters. There was like your pick of the Unreal or the arena shooter. You had Quake, Unreal. You also had Time Splitters, and then whatever generic thing else in there. But you had your choice of what you wanted to play, right? And it was just kind of like, maybe that's the kind of thing that's happening here. I wouldn't say all those games they definitely weren't bad. They were all good games. More good games. More good games from big publishers. That's all I can think of. Anyways, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I know we've been talking about it for the past couple, well,
yeah,
the entire year,
because
honestly.
they keep surprising me because like they're just like I'm like okay, this is all the games from Square, coming out in 2022. Like we've heard all of it, and then for the Nintendo Director, just like Harvestella, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Square, calm down, holy shit.
I don't even know what else is next. We didn't even
Like
talk.
surely at TGS they're not gonna be like,
Please let them
you know what I
announce
mean?
one more game. Please let them. I'm like, if they have like, if this company is 11 floors, I'm assuming like 9 of them were all working on games, different games. Like, just forget it.
Yeah, like how surprised would you be if for TGS this year they like squeaked out like one more announcement like coming December?
That's overkill. That's freaking overkill, man. I like at least put it in like, you know what? Nothing's coming out in December, so they're fine. They can do it. Just put something out in December, for goodness sake.
Yeah, is nothing coming out in December?
Usually nothing comes out in December that much.
I mean, typically there are a bunch of slow months in the year for sure. Yeah, I think probably nothing is coming out in December, so whatever.
So yeah, like we said, Forspoken is new release date. It's going to be January 24th, 2023. They said it was a strategic decision. All the elements of the game are now complete, and they're just polishing it. So just trying to make that game the best it can be, and I hope it is. I hope it does well. We talk a lot about like there's not a lot of originality or new IPs coming out, and Square, for whatever blessing or curse, has given us at least what Harvestella, Forspoken, DioField, and probably something else that I'm blanking on. But that's 3 original IPs. That's cool. Give it up for hopefully making them good.
Don't forget Nier's coming to the Switch.
I didn't want to mention that because it's because it is, and not via the cloud. All the Kingdom Hearts fans were like, "But why?"
Like really upset.
You took that. But I really wanted to play it on my Switch. I'm like, you really didn't. No, you didn't.
I wonder if it's better like in some countries. Like, I wonder if it's better in Japan than it is, in other countries where the internet might not be as good.
Oh, for the actual stream, the cloud streaming.
For the
Yeah,
cloud,
you never really hear anyone talk about the cloud that much. I think sometimes, for that review for Kingdom Hearts, probably would have been the best if anyone's curious to go look at just different review sites for that, because that's only playable on cloud. So that's probably the best way.
I'm curious if like in Japan it's less of a problem to have the game on the cloud, because like maybe Square was just like, oh, it works fine in our office, so it's fine. Therefore it's fine everywhere. But I don't know.
That's very possibly
because it's not even the first game that runs on the cloud. By the way, if you guys didn't know, like in Japan, Resident Evil 7,
I think,
yeah, is actually on the Switch here in Japan. It's the same thing, and it runs off the cloud. And I remember when I heard about that, I was like, oh, that's probably not a good idea. But I didn't really hear too much about it on the net or anything like that. So presumably either nobody bought it or nobody's having that many issues with it. So
we also forgot Plague's Tale also is on the cloud. Control is on the cloud on Switch.
Oh, interesting.
What else? Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
on this cloud streaming,
bro. The list there's an actual list, and it's not a long list by any means. Like this is, and some of these are, like you said, Japan only. So RE7 Japan only, Assassin's Creed Japan only, Phantasy Star 2 online.
Was Japan only, yeah.
Japan only. Control Ultimate Edition and Hitman 3. Plague Tale, The Forgotten City, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, that's also on cloud. Of course, the Kingdom Hearts stuff is worldwide. Edge of Eternity, speaking of a JRPG or something type game. Dying Light 2, and then a Plague Tale Requiem will be coming too. Wow.
That's actually quite a bit. That list is a bit longer than I thought, but I just like, I don't know. Like, how do you think developers feel about having to do cloud versions for Switch? Like, do you like? Would you feel like
they feel servers?
Because if you have to do a cloud version of your game for the Switch, I mean, doesn't that mean that the console isn't like?
It's not the Switch, right? Like it's running off of like Kingdom Hearts, presumably it's just running off of a PlayStation
or like a PC, yes,
5
or something,
PC
or something like
right?
that, yeah.
Right.
Like, doesn't that mean that like your console isn't the console isn't strong enough to play your game? Like, why even
Why bother?
Why are you doing it? Yeah, exactly. Why? It's for
I
the money,
guess
obviously. The answer is the money, but
for the
like,
money, for the money.
yeah, but like, I don't know.
It's it's one of those things where it's like I think we have this trend where we want to make things very accessible for everyone. There's a ton of games that are just locked on certain consoles, and the Switch is almost everyone has a Switch. I'm not gonna say everyone does, but a lot of people have a Switch, and
Yeah, most people have like a console, either an Xbox or a PS5 or a
Mhm.
PC and a Switch. The Switch is the one console everyone gets as your secondary console, right?
Right, right.
So if you wanted to play Resi 7, you probably want to play it on your Xbox or something. If you wanted to play Hitman 3, your PC
Get
is
on
a
your
really good option.
PC.
Yeah, like
But maybe but for the people who just don't have the PC or another console, like this is what they have.
you literally only have the
There are
Switch.
people, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's some people in my chat like they don't just have the Switch, but like their primary like what they play games on
Is the Switch.
is the Switch. Like so there's a case for it. It's interesting to know like how much it actually costs them to do any like are they just remapping controls and or
Um,
something like I don't know like is the
I
aspect
don't
ratio
know.
on the Switch off like
I
what do
just
they adjust?
I feel like you have to really love your Switch to do that because it's like if your choice is play a cloud version on your Switch or just play it on a console you already own, I'm just gonna play it on the other console. I mean that's why you had multiple consoles to begin with.
Yeah,
That's why you buy multiple consoles because if one console plays that game better,
play it on that one better console.
yeah, the one
Presumably
that you
until
yeah.
you maybe we can't even say like you're traveling in this instance because there's no internet connection where you're traveling.
Well, can you
uh
imagine being on like the Shinkansen playing a cloud Switch game on your tethered to your phone?
I don't want to.
Yeah,
it
I'd hate it.
who knows with some of these data plans and like 5G maybe it actually works decently. It's interesting just because we have the Steam Deck and that's
Hmm.
completely different. That's the same size or kind of
It's like
you're still playing a console
1.7
game like
times
that.
size of the Switch, I think. But yeah,
Yeah, but you're still
but
playing some of these games on that. It's just
yeah,
you're
and
not streaming them. You're not
exactly
streaming them,
the key
right?
difference is that you're not streaming it. So let's talk about Hitman 3 then. You can play Hitman 3 streaming to your Switch, or you can play Hitman 3 on your Steam Deck. Um, and like I feel like the Steam Deck would be a better option. No, I mean I'm
It
guessing here,
is.
but
It is. I, even besides the problems that it may have, it's still a better. It's still it's gonna run things much better. So it
presumably at least. I still remember. I still like laughed at when people ran Elden Ring on the Steam Deck. It was actually running
it
better
was
than on
better
a
than on
native
the
PC.
PC. Dude. Oh, remember because the first issue with the PC was not spec to use your graphics card.
It was like something really messed up about the GPU usage,
Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
for Elden Ring, and then when they ran it on Steam Deck, it was running better for some reason.
Don't
Oh
worry about
boy,
that GPU, kids. No, you don't need it to run
yeah,
games. But that's yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see when Nintendo actually does put out whatever successor to the
like
Switch, Switch
a new
2.
Switch,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I assume honestly, let's face it, Switch 2 just has to be a better Switch. That's it. I wouldn't expect any new bells,
sure,
whistles, surprises. I don't think they need to. I think people would just be happy
yeah.
with not having to play this stuff on a cloud.
I think the Switch definitely knocked it out of the park in terms of just like usability and feature set. Like it's pretty convenient to dock your Switch, play on a big TV, and then
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
crawl in the bed or you're heading out the door, just grab your Switch, right? So that's great, and I would love to see more of that. I don't think they need to continue uh,
Innovate weird
yeah. I mean, we say
controls
that,
or
but like like
stuff.
I'm a little terrified that they're gonna try something weird, like when they like
The
the
Wii U.
Wii U thing. Yeah,
Well, the Wii U is like actually a. We needed the Wii U so we could get a Switch. We needed the DS so we could get a Wii U. The logic
yeah.
there kind of does pan out, right? Those pan out, but we don't need a 64. We don't need
An N64?
yeah, we don't need an N64. We don't need a weird shaped controller just to have a weird shaped controller.
Oh, I mean the controller's pretty weird. I mean, I like the 64, but yeah, I mean most games use just the analog stick and the buttons,
The
so the
D-pad is
D-pad
just
was like a
there.
weird. Yeah, it was
It
weird.
was there. You couldn't even really use it that well.
Yeah, did you play any games that use a D-pad?
No, I don't. I don't remember ever using that D-pad. I always
I
wondered
used
like,
it.
why?
Why is it there?
Why?
Yeah, good question. I think what games use the D-pad actually?
But this is like another thing. What 64 games uh use the D-pad?
I know Pokemon Stadium used it just to like navigate the cursor, but that kind of like doesn't count.
Um, the only ones, at least from this Reddit forum, are like Tetris, Dr. Mario, Pokemon Puzzle League, which is getting
Uh,
a re-release
yeah. Did you know
this
that's a
week.
US exclusive game, by the way? That game does not exist in Japan.
Oh, it because it has like the actual characters too, like right, like Brock and
Yeah, it's
company,
I actually
Ash,
had no
Brock and Co.
idea. Yeah, I didn't know about this until I moved to Japan. But
Hmm.
because I was in Trader in Akihabara, so one of the bigger game stores on Meijidori. But
Right, right.
I was there, and they had a copy Pokemon Puzzle League, and there was a big sticker on there that said like U.S. What is it, like U.S. Gente or whatever? Like what is, like, but U.S.
Oh yeah,
only,
yeah.
like.
Just only for sale in the U.S. kind of thing.
And I was like, that game never came out in Japan. It's not a Japanese game.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
Pokemon Puzzle League. Yeah, who knew? It's actually a U.S. exclusive. That's a U.S. exclusive Pokemon game.
that now is getting released again on
It's a
the
fun game. Have
eShop.
you ever played?
So
Have you played it, by the way?
I didn't even know it existed.
But you never played it
No,
then?
I've never played it. I think the
It's.
the most I played was like Stadium and Pinball. Pinball was my jam.
Have you ever played Tetris Attack? Or
Yes,
like,
a long wow.
yeah. So Pokemon Puzzle League is basically just Tetris Attack, but Pokemon themed.
Yeah, I looked at the trailer. It was actually I was like, oh, it's
It's
got a
really
lot of the
fun.
elements of the.
I put a buttload of hours into that as a kid. Like I played a lot of Pokemon Puzzle League. So it's a fun game.
Well, uh, I guess moving on. We're almost yeah. We're in time this time. We are totally in time to make it below an hour. It's amazing. E3 coming back, not dying completely again. They did say they were going to come back next year with whatever they could come back as, and it turns out that they were purchased by Reed Pop,
I,
which are the organizers of PAX New York Comic Con and Star Wars Celebrations. It, yeah, it's going to be back in person, of course, but they said it's going to return to form in 2023. What would you like to see from a wonderful world of E3 coming back? Return
what
to
I like to see
form.
from E3, I mean, the era of E3 is coming on, I believe, because like, especially now with like online announcements, like the way that Nintendo is doing their stuff, and like Sony's kind of started to be like, here's our Sony stuff, right?
Mm-hmm,
And then like
mm-hmm.
Microsoft's like, here's our stuff.
This
Um,
is the second year we've had the Summer of Games, I want to say, like that whole
yeah.
thing.
So yeah, I just feel like the era of like huge ass amazing announcements dropping at E3 have passed, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Kind of like sprinkled out throughout the year, which I mean, I'm okay with that too, because then it's just like, I don't know, like a bunch of news throughout the year, I guess. I mean, E3 was cool. The heyday of E3 was kind of cool because you were like, whoa, like all this stuff
Like
now.
Christmas,
And
you know?
yeah, like gaming Christmas, except you can't open any of your presents. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if it's necessary at this point. Maybe the news cycle has changed. Like the way that games media now is reported on has changed. So, but what would I like to see from E3? I don't know. I guess just more. I don't know, just some big stuff. Like console announcements were nice. It was always cool to see like the new console show up at E3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It was like to me, it was like I said. I mean, it's Christmas, but it was just that one time of year where it was like I had something to look forward to. I would like sit in front of my TV when G4 would have it or Tech TV, whoever would cover it. I would check the internet every day. You know, I'd go to school like, oh y'all see that? Did you see that announcement? You know, it's stuff that we couldn't really do as much now just because so many things are on the internet and maybe it's not as much buzz happening out of it, but my thing is the summer of gaming is nice. It's just long. I don't like having all these events that are so similar in like just broken up week to week to week kind of thing. Like I think technically we're still in the summer of gaming. I don't really know.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't even bother to like Check.
I don't know like, I don't know what it ended sometimes, you know?
I didn't even bother to like even think about it, yeah.
But it was nice just to have all of that stuff, just like in TGS, right? All that news is going to happen in 3 days or 4 days, and then it's done. And you can, it's so easy to like just catch up on that as opposed to like, I think I was trying to like schedule multiple, like, okay, Microsoft goes this day, then that goes that day. But there's like 4 or 5 things from 3 different shows happening at the same time or like in this, like very close to each other. And that's what always gets me about the summer of gaming. So I kind of just missed the schedule of E3 more so than anything. But
yeah,
I don't know what they can do, you know, unless they can entice, you know, Sony and Microsoft to come back, and Activision Blizzard. Well, sorry, that is Microsoft. Sony and Microsoft to come back.
Yeah, I don't even think they can, honestly, because like I think if they even tried, Sony would be like, no, we're doing great, like our own thing, like we can do what we want whenever we want, how we want. You know what I mean? Like, what's the incentive for Sony to come back to save all their big announcements for E3?
I mean, their VP of ReedPop said that E3 2023 will be recognizably epic, a return to form that honors what always worked while reshaping what didn't and setting a new benchmark for video game expos in 2023 and beyond.
Okay. But like, sure, you can say whatever you want about your own event, but like that doesn't mean people are going to come back to it.
This is like the third time they've had the quote return to form. I mean, we've had offline E3, we've had half like in person in like what was it like open to public E3, half open to public E3. We've had so many different iterations, and then it's just when everyone pulled out, you know, that was just kind of it. So I don't know, maybe
I mean I can say whatever I want about my event. I could be like, come to my birthday, it's gonna be the best. It's gonna be like everyone's gonna be like everyone's gonna get their own presents. There's gonna be like 40 strippers there. I can say whatever I want about my birthday. That doesn't mean like unless he's guaranteed he's got his guests like locked in, like now, like he knows like who's gonna be there, he managed to get everyone to show up and save announcements, then sure, maybe. But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I guess we'll see next year. I mean, that's it for the most part. I mean, PAX is pretty fun. I think a lot of people like PAX, and that pretty much does something similar. You know? So I don't know how this.
I also heard people get really sick at PAX.
People get sick at all these shows, bro. Like honestly, now it's just like you just got to be prepared for something. I've never been to a big like Comic-Con or anything like that, but I'm always wary. Like anyone who goes to even TGS, after TGS, I've heard people just get sick.
I got sick at TGS twice.
I'm still okay.
Like every time that I go to TGS, I get sick. I got super sick. Like to the 2018, I remember. But
it's just always something going wrong.
Yeah,
spreading at those shows.
I wasn't even like touching a lot of stuff at TGS.
You don't really touch anything. Like you might touch like the controller for a demo, but like you're waiting in line for like 2 hours sometimes. So
and you're walking around and you're getting like handed like swag, like have a flyer, have a Uchi, like a fan, have this card Vanguard fight, whatever the fuck that is. You know what I mean? You're like, have this, and I'm like, okay. And then I got sick. So
have a fan, have some swag.
What do you do to TGS swag? Do you throw it away?
I think I had until I moved into this apartment, into my new apartment. Well, my current apartment. I had all of my like Capcom. I still have some just like hanging up, but yeah.
Most of the stuff that I get is like pamphlets that I don't give a shit about, and like
I keep the bags.
I keep the bags, yeah.
Man. Those bags some of them are good. Like if you want to go to like, I wouldn't say like a gym workout, but like if you want to just like ride your bike and have a bag, not the big bags, but like the ones you can like put on your actual back a little bit.
I kept the ones from, because Sega always has really nice looking bags. I keep the Sega ones. They're kind of like they're papery though. I wouldn't really use them for much, but they.
I still have my Blaze Blue one down there because it was so huge.
I have a really big Persona one from 2019.
I had a Sen no Kiseki one too that had, because it lit up and I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Oh, I remember in 2018 when they announced Judge Eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, when Sega did, and I remember their bag was like so damn big, and everyone on the show floor had their big Judgment bags.
Don't you just hate it? Like it makes me so annoyed because I'm like, they have a bag, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice bag. Where do I get that bag? And I just want to go to that booth to get the bag sometimes. I'm just like, I can't believe I'm just going to get these darn bags.
You go to the Sega booth and you're like,
Dude,
one bag, please.
One bag, please. It's the best form of advertising. You'll never realize you got suckered into it until you're in at the booth and you're like, it's a 2 hour wait, and I'm actually gonna do it to get a bag.
I just remember, I remember everyone walking around with their Judgment bags, and I was like,
there's always one per show. Always.
At
one.
the time, I actually didn't know what the game, because it was a brand new IP at the time, right? Judge Eyes.
Right.
And I was like, what is Judge Eyes? What is this game?
Where you get to judge. How did we get Judge Eyes and Judgment? I just like.
Well, Judge Eyes is a Japanese title, and they changed it to Judgment.
But why Judge Eyes? I have to play the game to find out.
You haven't played the game?
I haven't played. I own it.
I haven't played it either.
Like that's the only reason I want a PS. Another reason I want a PS5 is because they have the the better edition of that game, the 60 FPS and the touch-up version, essentially.
Yeah, and then the sequel was also on there too, right?
Yeah. So it's
like one game that's like never coming out to PC, thanks to Johnny's.
Thanks, Johnny's. But a game that is coming back in for whatever reason, Lollipop Chainsaw. Did you play Lollipop Chainsaw? I did not.
No, I didn't either.
People, are you a Suda51 fan? Do you like the Suda games?
I respect the man. I just don't really play any of his games.
I can't get into any of this man's games. Some people swear up and down. I got a friend who swears up and down about
like No More Heroes.
No More Heroes. Like, and I did give No More Heroes a try. I'm just like, I don't know. I couldn't get into it.
I respect the man. I respect the games. I just haven't played them. Is the thing. I'm sure they're fine. That's all. I know a lot of people were into Lollipop Chainsaw. I mean, it's a self-parody, no? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the game,
written by James Gunn too.
Oh yeah, it is James Gunn. Yeah, I mean, the game clearly does not take itself seriously. So.
It does not. I think that's why people enjoy it. It might have some I like the concepts of Suda's games, and sometimes the stories and stuff. I just don't like how they play. That's me. But this one looks like it at least had more of a shot of playing decent, because it wasn't just like hit up on it. What would you call it? Sex, blood, and rock and roll. I just read the trailer from 2012. They are, I mean, they're re-releasing it. They don't have, I don't think there's a date or anything like that. It just is what it is. And Suda and James Gunn are not involved at the moment. They just found out. They just found out, as in it was announced, and maybe a little bit before that, hey, this game's turning 10 years old. We're going to re-release it. Thanks Kadokawa and Grasshopper Games. So.
Well, I mean, if you could take a game and have it released or remastered, what would it be? I mean, we've talked about this a lot of times, but if you could have one game that you enjoyed from 10-ish, 15 years ago, and you feel like it deserves a second chance, or you just want to play it on a modern console, what game would you pick?
I feel like they've all been remade. Sadly, that's the worst part. I feel like some of them. I would like a Shinobi remake.
Oh, Sega?
Yeah, that game was
That's
fun.
well older than 15, but yeah.
I don't know.
It was PS2, no? The last one was PS2.
Yeah, PS2.
Yeah, the last one was PS2.
Version. Yeah, the PS2 version.
Yeah.
Or another version of why am I blanking on that mech game now? Steel Battalion.
Front Mission?
Nah, Steel Battalion.
What the fuck is Steel Battalion?
I think that was Capcom. Steel Battalion was the.
Maybe I think that is Capcom actually. Yeah.
I owned it, and I played a little bit. I played when I could, because that stupid controller. It's like 150 button controller or something like that.
Why don't you go knock on Capcom's door and be like, remake it? And they're like, no, we're too busy. We're too busy remaking RE4.
Who the heck in Capcom actually greenlit this mother? I actually have to know. I don't know Capcom making any mech games. This is purely a mech sim game. I mean, you've seen that controller, right?
Yeah, that looks crazy, dude.
The controller was actually just dumb. I had to.
It's an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah. When I put this thing together, I was just like, okay, I need a table to set this on. I got my foot pedals below, and you do feel like you're in a mech. I don't think it's just a 50 button controller.
You know what? That looks sick, actually.
It's sick, right? It's freaking. It is some like WTF
You know what?
this?
Yeah,
Who
you know what?
greenlit this mug?
I would play one of these like with that controller
With
too.
that control,
Like with
yeah,
that
yeah. I'm sad. I eventually sold it. Because after I moved out, my mom.
Can you not play this with a normal controller? Like you
No,
have to use that.
you have to use every button on this thing is so the center. You have the comms frequency, so you actually do use the radio comms. You twist the dial to like to get on different comms. The eject button on the far right, you do flip it like, dude. When you eject out this mug, you flick this thing and you just hit the eject because if you don't, you lose your mech. Like you restart all over again.
I would play a new
it?
version. I would play one of these. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like there's the missile buttons. On the far left, that's like the gear thruster. Like, you got boost. You do shift gears and everything. Like
Holy
this thing.
Shit.
And yeah, when you boot up your mech, there is the sequence. You do actually have to
You
be
have
like,
to like flip. You have to flip toggles
this,
and stuff.
You flip those. I think the bottom left buttons. That you can.
You gotta flip all those.
You flip all of them, and you flip them in a sequence. You press all the and the lights light up in an order to. Dude, this shit was on point. And when I saw it, I was like,
"Oh my god!"
When I saw it, I was like, "Holy crap! Why is this in my?" It was at my local GameStop, and I was like, "I have to get this. I know how rare this is. I have to play this." I literally got an Xbox for this and Ninja Gaiden. And that's all I played on it.
How expensive was this game?
That was $150 something.
Oh my god!
I think is how much I paid.
Whoa, that was so sick. I would play this, man. I want to play this now. Yeah.
Like that game for whatever reason existed.
I want Capcom to put one of these. Like if they made a new one, but it's like Xbox Series exclusive. Like fuck it, I'm gonna buy an Xbox. Like
yeah. I mean, it was actually for whatever reason, it was $200 original price. Yeah, because it comes with the controller, of course.
That is awesome. Oh my, yeah. If they made a new one, but it was Xbox exclusive, I wouldn't even care. I'd buy an Xbox for this. That's ridiculous.
I wish I still had it, honestly. But you know when you'd
still be playing it.
Yeah, you know when you move out the house, what happens to your room? Every kid who moves out, when you come back to your room, you know what happens. It's turned to some other station or something. Your parents are like, "Can you get that away? You take this out."
Do you still have? Is it like in your house somewhere? Or?
No, it's gone. It's donated.
Did this come out in Japan? Oh, you know what? Okay. Oh my god, I want to find one of these.
Fudge, man! I'm looking at this on Amazon. This is Amazon, I guess US or what? I don't know. Is this Japan? Either way, it says $3,000.
If I go into like a used game store here in Japan and I see a copy of this like with the controller, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I'm buying that. It takes up a large, like the actual box and everything. It takes up a large space.
You can see the picture here. You need a table. You need a table for it. You need
a table. I had to makeshift set up tables to play that fucking game.
Oh my god, this looks awesome. That is ridiculous.
If they could just put like better frame rate, I should like get a trailer or something. But it needs a an actual like it needs some better frame rate. That was one of the things that I wish was like better with the game.
Putting the controller aside, how did the game itself play? Is it like front mission or is it like virtual on or?
It's front mission.
Oh, not front mission. When I'm thinking of Armored Core. Sorry, Armored Core. Is it like Armored Core or is it like virtual on? Like
it's more not Armored Core. Old Armored Core. Like the older ones where you couldn't boost a lot. You had to conserve things. I can't remember how much you get to.
What's the Sega arcade game then?
It's Virtual Arm. That's Virtual Arm.
No. That's also Sega, but the other one, the newer one, they have you can play with a mouse actually. In
crap! That thing. That I know what you're talking about. Fudge.
Yeah. It's a mech. It's like a 4-on-4 mech fighter. Yeah, it's on arcades in Japan. You can play with a keyboard and mouse or a controller.
Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on it so hard. I know what you're talking about.
And it's a Sega game as well.
Because now it's almost like 10 years. Should be like 11 years old now because it came out when we first came to Japan almost.
Yeah, I remember going to an arcade and seeing that you could. They just like
Border Break.
Yeah, that's the one. Border Break. Yeah.
It's more simi than Border Break. It's basically like if they tried to make Microsoft's Flight Simulator for a freaking.
Okay, so it's like really like it's way more, I guess tanky, like slower, kind of like heavy machine kind of thing.
Yeah, I put it up on the
Not
screen.
like
You can see
okay, so it's not
like
like agile like Virtual On. Virtual On's really
yeah.
fast, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not agile. Even like the frames aren't agile. Like they don't look agile. It's just kind of like okay, you can kind of you can pilot them. Um but yeah, hold up. Let me see this like yeah, freaking like starting OS stuff, like everything on the screen, you actually have to press the controller. Man, that shit was on point. And
Oh,
it didn't need to be
sick.
for whatever reason. Um
Oh, and like their HUD looks like shitty, like you're in the
yeah.
cockpit.
Yeah, it's in the cockpit view. Uh
Oh man, put this on on PlayStation. Put this on PlayStation VR. Put this on
you know,
PSVR.
that would be a nice place to put something like this now is like VR. I mean, they wouldn't have enough controls for it. But hey, you know what
Oh yeah,
VR now
you would need to
you
be
can
like
press you can actually
it would
press
have to
things in
be
VR
AR
space.
VR. Like your
Yeah.
controller, you need to look down, and your controller needs to be shown in your headset. Like it needs to be AR and VR.
Or you just have yeah, if you want this specific controller like to have the sticks working that kind of way, yeah, you would need something like the AR VR. If not, but yeah, this thing's like moves so slow.
Yeah, I
Like
can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
this thing was at the time I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is so freaking awesome." But when you got into fights, this shit was real, bro.
Oh,
This shit got
dude.
real. And then yeah, you just hit that eject button or else you
And
die.
this came out 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh man.
Escaped.
Anyway, that's cool. Yeah, I
That
could say.
was
Oh, you eject out of the cockpit.
yeah, you eject out the
Oh,
cockpit with the button. I used to just flip the button, just like, oh, this button is so
I'm
awesome.
out of here. I'm out.
I'm out of here. I just want to know
Goodbye.
whose idea in Capcom this was. Like, whose idea? Whose idea was this? Because I just don't know. Um,
Yo, this
it
game
was
is
freaking
sick.
awesome though.
By the way, if anyone's listening to the podcast, you should probably just watch the podcast on
You
YouTube.
should watch
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Okay, this is cool. Yeah,
uh,
I would say if you could have a game that's remastered or something like that, sure. This is a
that's
pretty
my
big
remaster
pick.
choice in VR. I think you hit something real nice right
Yeah,
there.
and in
VR. That'd
VR.
be hype, man. I mean, what about
That's
you?
a
What
dream.
would you like?
I was gonna say, because I've been thinking about it recently, but Metal Gear Solid 3, but with the modern gameplay. So, did you ever
Oh,
play
that would be.
MGS3 or 2 or anything?
Yeah, I played one, two, three. I think the only ones I haven't played were the last one and Peace Walker.
Okay, so I'm gonna say like yeah, MGS3, which is probably a lot of people what they consider to be like the best in the series, and then just use the same story basically, keep the story the same, but with like modernize the gameplay. So you have to change the maps obviously, because that would just ruin the balance of the game. Um, so basically a full remake, like an FF7 remake style remake
Mm.
for MGS3. But yeah, I think I would love to revisit the first chapter of Big Boss with modern gameplay and just keep the story the same because it's a lot of people's favorites.
It was honestly that game was really really good. Like I there was a time when I was really into Metal Gear. Oh, and four,
Yeah,
yeah, and four as well, of
you
course.
never finished you never like played 4, 5?
No, I finished four. So I finished everything. I've played and
You
finished all
need
of them except
you
for
need to
Peace Walker
play.
and five. That's the only one. Which
Yeah, you
I
should
heard
play.
for
5 is good. 5 is a fun game. It's on PC, dude.
it's on sale every other summer. Well, every summer,
Yeah,
every
and
sale for
like
like
probably it's probably.
for $10. It's always $10.
Are you watching? Did you put up like a fan trailer?
I don't know. It looks like a fan trailer,
It's
but
a fan trailer.
this
It's a fan trailer.
I
It looks
I
good though.
I can't tell
Uh,
because the game is so old. I just can't.
no, it doesn't look this good.
It,
This is a PS2 game. So
well, these are
yeah.
just those cutscenes.
They did what's the word? Konami, to be fair, it's not that's a weird way to put it. Konami did remake all the cutscenes for MGS3 because, and I wish I was kidding, they made a pachinko version of Metal Gear Solid 3. It's called like Metal Gear
Bro,
Solid
that's
3 Apache Slot. I'm not kidding. I wish I were, but so for the pachinko game, they redid all of the cutscenes in MGS3, but using the modern engine, and it looks so damn good, like so damn good.
that's when you know. That's when you know.
Yeah, but it's just for pachinko.
People don't know,
it's
man.
for a
That pachinko be real, man. Pachinko, they
Ever
get
play
all the good
pachinko?
stuff. No, I still can't go through the smoke. And
Yeah,
the
so
noise.
anyone who
The
doesn't really know
noise.
what, yeah, so pachinko. I'm sure you guys know what pachinko is, but like in Japan, there's a lot of pachinko parlors, right? And when you when
Before
you're on
you
the
get
street,
to it and you hit on the
yeah,
street, a door
when you're on the
opens.
street and you
Beep, beep,
walk
beep, beep, bing, bing,
and
bing, bing, bing.
you walk past the doors and they automatically open and you just hear like the roar, like this gigantic beastly roar, because it's so damn loud in the parlor, but you're on the street and when these automatic doors open up, it's just like like what is that, what the fuck is that, like holy shit, it's
It's
so
just like
loud.
it's this huge dumb like I
Yeah,
said, the noise, and it's not like it's like you're another universe just opened up.
I know, like the portal to hell just opened up, and it's just like it's so loud and it's so smoky. It just
I
smoke.
would honestly go there
Yeah.
if there wasn't any smoke, because I've always wanted to try a game of pachinko. I've only played on my iPhone like back in college, and
Uh-huh.
I know how to play the game. But they have all these like really cool, like you said, like sequences, or like you're playing slots, but the actual video for like when you get jackpot, or like when you get close to a jackpot, like it switches to these like really cool cinematics that are done by actual, you know, game devs or animation
Mhm.
studios, and they're like,
Mhm.
sometimes they like try to include them as part of the story. Like
Yeah, so by the I don't know if you knew this, but before Guilty Gear, what's the word? How do you pronounce it?
Strive or
Exard?
Xrd.
Uh, the one that's like XRD.
I think it's Xrd.
Exard. So before Guilty Gear Exard came out, there was actually a Guilty Gear Pachinko game, and the cutscenes. I'm not kidding. The cutscenes, the story in this Pachinko game was canon, and it was leading up to Exard.
See, I'm telling you, man. Like you can play it long enough to where you can actually get a story. That's the sad thing.
Yeah, and who is like,
Because they have the
who's
Eva
just
ones. They had the ones for like all the Eva movies that were before. I don't know if those
I
were actually
know.
canon. Like there's a new one every week. There's some that are staples. There are some that are like staples, like Fist of the North Star. That's always there.
Yeah,
It's
it
always
was like,
there.
oh, I remember there's like an AKB one too, actually, like 10 years ago, the height of AKB. But
Something I read something that AKB was resuming their activities now or something. Like I guess they had stopped. I don't know, but I
did
was
they
just like
stop?
I don't know. Is this going to be the second time we look up AKB on the podcast?
You know what? I'm willing to get back into AKB.
There a reason? I'm willing to
I
get
mean, why
back
not? I mean, why
into
not?
AKB, and why not? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Holy
I
shit. Did you know if you go to AKB48 on Wikipedia and you look up their sister groups, there's so many sister groups. There's so many sister groups.
there's That's how rich that man is. When
What the
he
fuck? What is Yoshimoto Zaka 46?
Oh, that's Yoshimoto is the I want to say it's like the Gano, the comedians, the comedy group. Not group, but it's a group of comedians that he turned
What?
into a singing group.
Oh my god.
I kid you not.
Okay.
I've
Yeah, and then
only
there's
seen them a couple
also
times.
Hinata-zaka and Sakura-zaka, and I know what Nogizaka is. That's a, you know,
Yeah, that's the Hill series, as they call them.
yeah, but Nogizaka's really big, or at least they were really big.
That's all about
Um,
that Hinata. I think they're
oh,
they're both still big. Nogizaka and Hinata.
there's so many, dude. There's Bangkok BNK, and then there's
Shanghai.
Psych.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like India MUB for Mumbai. Oh
there's
my
Mumbai one.
god.
I didn't know there was gonna be the Mumbai one. Dang, bro.
There's a lot, dude. Yeah.
Only SDN is the only one that's gone.
Yeah, rip SDN. SDN.
Rip.
Did you know what SDN stood for?
Was it Saturday night something?
Saturday night. Yeah.
I mean, I think they were like old. Were they technically older?
They were older, so they were like in their late 20s
They were in
instead
their
of
late
their
20s. Yeah.
late teens. But yeah,
DEL. Oh, Delhi. What the heck?
Delhi. Yeah.
What the world? Oh, some of these are just like. What could you imagine? Like 10 years ago, like if you were an AKB, the only chance you had was just to be an AKB, and then like eventually SK and NMB came on, and you're like, oh, because they introduced a system where they can like not intern in the other group, but they could like
Oh, the Kenkyusei?
yeah, they could actually go to the other group
Yeah.
and like be there for like a year or whatever. Now they have the system to where you can like travel. Like you can be like heck, if you want to go to a different country and be in their version, you can for like
Yeah,
a
I
year.
think like
That's crazy.
Kashiwagi Yuki was in like another couple other groups.
This is like, bro, this is just not. And it's one man owning
That man, he's
owning the
dead.
main
He's
group
dead
and
at this
his
point. Yeah, he's been replaced by an AI. Honestly, like
he
he's
owns his group and the rival to his group. Like, there's something not right about that. There's just something not right. But it's not a monopoly, not a monopoly at all.
yeah. Well, I mean, like idols. I think like the idol culture is cyclical. I mean, maybe it never dies. I just like I haven't
It
really
it
followed. I mean,
it doesn't,
I'm just really into VTubers now, which are
which is the new idol.
kind of like idols in a sense, yeah.
They're
But
basically idols, unless they don't do sing, dance, act, and everything else. But
they do that though, so yeah,
yeah,
I suppose they do everything. They do all that and stream video games, so
which makes
one
them cool.
better.
I
True.
watched I saw on Twitter I forgot the one from I think it was Indonesia. She like reached 1 million subs.
Oh yes, yeah. Very recent, like
Is it weird that I could actually listen to her? Out of all the ones I'm like, huh, this isn't bad. Like for whatever her voice is just like, oh, I don't
Do you
mind
like her
listening.
voice?
Don't actually mind her voice, and it's so weird. It's like, bro, what the heck? She was playing a rhythm game because I was just like, who is this person? So I looked and she was playing a rhythm game, but she was singing in tune. It was like really nice and fun. But I'm like, I don't know if I could take a whole hour of this or anything. Plus, I don't know what she's saying. But I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because she speaks primarily in Indonesian, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to be like, yo, hey, can you translate? But I'm probably not gonna
Yeah.
watch anything.
Yeah.
So it was just really interesting. I was like, okay, good for them. We're done. We went the normal time.
So I am just looking at
We went the
AKB
normal
members
time.
now. Kashiwagi Yuki is 30 now. Oh, that freaks you
I
out.
don't
Oh,
even.
yeah.
I'm like on screen. I'm just like rubbing my eyes. I don't know what to do because
She's 30,
she's
yeah.
30. Like she's not
Yeah.
that much younger than. But they were all around the same age, right?
Yeah, well, like when AKB was in their prime, they were in their then late teens, early 20s, but that
Yeah.
was 10 years ago, so yeah.
I think now the ones that get graduated, I think all of them have kids. If I remember.
Oh, no way. I know my Datsuko has
Yeah.
a kid, at least one kid. I don't know if like
I don't know. I can't remember if Tomomi has a kid. I think she does. I know Mariko has a kid.
really. She does?
I'm like, I know Mariko has a kid. Like, what the heck? Like,
She
there's no
does?
weird way. Yeah, I mean, like, I think most of them, like, they just basically became housewives and they're on TV. They're still on TV every once in a while.
They're
you
probably
see
just like, what's the word in Japanese? They're just like Gainoljin, right? Like talent
them.
or something.
Yeah, they're
like,
just talent. They're, I think only Madatsuko still does like acting.
She does, I think. I believe so. I don't know
Yeah.
if she's like considered a super
Actress. She's
Yeah.
not bad. She's not bad.
good. She's just in mostly dramas and that kind of stuff, right?
Dramas. I don't think she's in any movie. She was in a movie.
She was in at least like 2 movies.
Like 2 movies
at
or
least.
something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think most of them sing. Some of them tried to sing after that. Didn't really.
Didn't really take off.
Takashi Minami, she tried. Didn't.
You know what?
work.
They should just be
Tomomi kind of
VTubers.
tried.
Just
I thought that they
VTubers.
should just. I still think, old boy. I'm telling you, he's gonna do it.
Who?
Just Akimoto, old boy, he's gonna do this, man. X amount of years from now, the reunion group.
So they're like what, 40?
They're like 30. They're like 40 or whatever, and they come back, and it's just like the new group is born again. But it's just the old people. Well, we know you still like the old people, so you're gonna watch it anyways. You're gonna listen to the music and buy the singles just because you want to relive your nostalgia. So, because he is waiting, bro. He is waiting for the reunion tour. Kill his dude. He's waiting for the reunion tour, and you know it.
It is kind of freaking me out when I'm on Wikipedia right now and I'm looking at the big names from the prime of AKB. So like Tomomi Kasai, and like Kashiwagi Yuki and Kuremochi Asuka, Mai Datsuko, like all the big ones, right?
Yeah.
And looking at their profiles and they're all like age 30, 33. I'm like, oh no.
You just have to transition to a Nogizaka group or one of the
Yeah.
Zaka groups. They'll make you feel young again.
Oh my god.
Old. Oh man, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Idol culture in Japan. That'd be an interesting special if we ever did that one. But I think we've reached the end of the show. So where can they find you when they're not listening to the podcast?
Yeah, I stream on Twitch 2 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. JST. You can find me at twitch.tv/root24. I'm gonna try to finish Stranger Paradise this week and next week. Well, I have like 4 or 5 story missions left. I bought the game at launch and then proceeded to never really play it. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to actually finish the game. So probably in 2 weeks or something we'll be done and we can move on to something that's not chaos. So
you got Stray coming out. The cat
oh
game is
yeah,
next week, I think.
I should play that. Yeah, I should play that.
Yeah. And then you can find me on Twitch as well at NinjaTrix, NinjaTrix. Currently playing Cuphead.
Sweet. Is it fun?
It's fun, you know. It's nice to take a break from like the longer games. So I've been enjoying it. I'm about 60% of the way through the game. I did buy the DLC with it as well, but it definitely does like punish you. You can play however you want, but essentially, if you want to just go for maximum damage, you just stick with 3 lives. Like that's all you get. 3 lives. There's nothing that you get in between. It's just like an all-out run through the level, and it's fun. It's fun. And currently, maybe I'm like 70% of the way through Ni no Kuni. Still going.
Oh man, yeah, I'm playing.
It feels like Dragon Quest. It's not bad. I enjoy it. I hate the combat. I hate the difficulty spikes in the combat. They don't make sense.
Oh really?
But it has more than one world theme, one song. It's got more than one song, so it passes that test.
Oh man, that drove me insane. Playing Dragon Quest. Like I can't believe that whole game only has one battle theme. Like why was this a good idea?
People sing the praises. They know.
Oh, speaking of, yeah, that's also a game that Square announced Dragon Quest 12, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's next week. Yeah, that's next year too, sometime maybe. Oh, fudge.
Did they say 2023? Because there's zero news. Like,
I don't think there's an actual date for it, but we have to assume, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't think they count them as the same as Final Fantasy. Like, I feel like just because you have A, you can also have B for those 2 series.
Maybe.
But you can't have 2 Final Fantasies come out.
There's 2 Final Fantasies coming out next year, so I mean Dragon Quest could probably squeeze in. Kingdom Hearts is probably 2 to 3 years.
You know what we forgot?
What?
Crisis Core Reunion. Is that this year?
That's this year. Yep.
They keep going. Freaking
Yeah.
Freaking Square.
Oh yeah, and Persona 5 is coming out on PC and everything as well in October, so I'm also gonna buy that. So yeah, I'm not buying.
You have no money.
I'm not buying any of these games, basically. Yeah.
There we go.
All
right, everyone. Well, be sure to follow us, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Unknown Games Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at UGP_cast, and we will catch you next week for 140 of the Unknown Games Podcast, where we talk about
holy shit,
how old we've become and how old the AKB members are
also really old now, and it's terrifying. But yeah,
life goes on.
Right. Well, see you next week.
See you next week.
All right, peace.